Well, we've just been informed that the rain has begun again, and the water levels are rising across the world. We should all take to boats.
We'll be all right. We need the rain.
And we need it, and wasn't it great how the rain abated right about the time the game started?
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It was a good lick.
It worked out perfectly for everybody, yeah.
It was a big weekend of sports, big weekend of football. We got some volleyball too, talking sports. Where should we begin? How about the oldest rivalry in the Valley, more or less, McAllen and Edinburgh? That was a good ball game.
You were at that game.
I was at that
Explain
game.
a little bit what happened there, man.
Edinburgh got down 20-3. They couldn't run the ball all night, and they just could not run the ball against the McAllen defense. But they hit some big cannon shots from Michael Harrison. He threw for 276 yards, brought them back to 20-17. They got a chance at the end of the game. They're coming down there in the end zone, and they threw a pass on fourth down after a key holding penalty that was incomplete. So, I mean, it was a heck of a finish. Edinburgh High played a good defensive game. McAllen was incredible in the second quarter. They scored 20 points. All 20 points in the second quarter. Ricky Rodriguez, he had 118 or some such. He ran fine. They didn't really complete as many passes as they had in the past. Hofer was 5 out of 14. He ran pretty well. Hey, Mac High's 2-0, man. That's a good effort. To keep the other team from coming back on its home field at the end like that, it's a good win for Mac High.
Mac High's got a little crossout rival this coming week.
Yeah, they do.
And
yeah, they do.
District opens this week, Rowe, they're gonna look out for Rowe because that kid can sling.
Yeah, he's
He
legitimate.
always can throw it.
Yeah, and he can run it too.
Yeah.
He counted for 6 touchdowns. So I feel like Rowe is where they need to be offensively. Some new guys are coming to the fore as receivers. Man, they got a hidden weapon. Edinburgh High's got a kicker named Christoph Martinez. Obviously hit a 54-yarder. Vicente Vargas, I believe, for Rowe, 52 yards. That's a long field goal for anybody.
On defense, Eric Amaya.
That's what I heard. I heard the sophomore had a good
He had a
game.
block and a pick. So I mean, they gotta watch out for. Homer better watch out for that guy also. He's out there.
So Rowe is 1-1. They did a good job against Pace, 51-17. Now they play McAllen. It's not really a home game either way. One team is on one side and one's on the other. But I mean, for the most part, that's a little advantage.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't say it's an advantage. The only advantage would come from who shows up. How many?
True. If you have,
yeah.
I say if you play in your home stadium, that's a home
Yeah.
game. You just got to come out and support, and I think they will. That's going to be a fun game. I feel like McAllen at 2-0 feels good about themselves.
Yeah.
And finally met Coach Brewer.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, he really
I think
is.
I'm going to be nice to him because he's pretty big. But I like the way, they look really organized and really intense and disciplined. It was a good ball game. I'm not going to say it was the most perfectly played game, McAllen EHS, but it was exciting. Like I said, Harrison, he threw a 95-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah.
He found a guy wide open, Jordan Saldana. In fact, they had the highest passer, 276, and the highest receiver, Saldana, 211 yards. Edinburgh only rushed for 13 yards, and that is not going to be able to work at Donna this week. They're going to go over there and play Donna.
They need to run the ball. I mean, they got Harrison. They can do it. Was he scrambling?
Not really. He actually got decent protection, which sounds strange when you see that he got sacked 6 times. Yes, he got hammered, but he did get some time on particular plays, and it allowed him to throw the deep ball. Because the thing is, if you're going to try to throw that ball a long way, then you need a moment or two to survey the field. So the offensive line play was uneven. They didn't run block as well as they're going to, I imagine. And at certain points they broke down. But the McAllen defense, man, they look pretty good. Let me tell you some guys, because I'm starting to learn these cats. Number 40, Nick Garcia is a linebacker. He came in the second half, played more in the second half, made a lot of tackles. Early on, it was this kid, Albert Quiroz, number 65. None of these guys are super big, but they were all running to the ball and hitting people. I like Quiroz. I think he had some kind of injury midway through the game, but the fact is he had 3 or 4 tackles. The first play of the game, he came through and cracked a guy. I'm like, who is this guy? He got up all fired up. Nice. It was that type of game. It was nice. Another kid, David Ayala, I think he's a safety. I like that kid too. He's not bad. The McAllen defense, we were wondering who they're going to be. They lost all these guys, Roman and them. These are the new guys. Another kid that impressed me was Mark Vasquez, a lineman. And this other guy, 99, Zielinski. Huge guys. 99 and 93 are the tall guys on their defense, and they made some plays. Nice. They rushed the passer.
Nice. Speaking of plays, okay, so I watched the Jags, JHS, and Memorial.
What a game that must have been.
That was great. Okay, granted, you got 2 big breakaways from Trevor Spates, one for 66, one for 71.
Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. It just happened like that, and there was no way they were going to catch him. He just put the Jets on, he went.
Mr. Fast.
But I'll tell you one thing, the Jag defense, Ali Garza made the stops when the stops needed.
I like that guy. Ray Lewis, 52.
You see him more than I do, but
He's good.
He made the stops.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this, I know, you put it on paper, probably Edinburgh North's favorite, but watch out because the Jaguars are going to come out and play.
They got the attitude, man. All the kids have been showing up at each other's games Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you don't play, you go see the other team. They're looking pretty confident, man. I like that team. I like Luis Alvarez. I always have. He's a nice quarterback. He throws a good deep ball. And in that offense, it's not so important that he throw 25 passes. He's got to fake and move and do the right thing at quarterback. The slot T is a quarterback-based offense, and I think he runs it pretty well, which is ironic because he's a big, tall, strong kid. He doesn't look that quick, but he's got great hands and feet. He's a basketball player.
Yeah.
He's got good
At
coordination.
the end of the game, Memorial had one last try for a drive.
I heard they came back a couple of silly penalties, and
Yeah.
that's the old way that economies used to play. The new way they play is very disciplined and getting the things done and not giving up easy stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a great game.
Tony had a good game, as Gary.
Yeah. They all had. It was a good game. They had the plays were played when they needed to be made.
He made a long drive at the end, right? They drove 5 minutes to go.
Exactly.
When you
punched it in,
you're down one, right?
Yeah.
It's 21-20. When you're down one, you get the ball with 5 minutes to go. This is it.
Yeah.
You see what type of team you have, and they did what they needed to do. 11 plays, very impressive. And Izagiri, I heard, carried a ton, carried a load on that drive as it were. This is hard. He's hard to stop.
Yeah.
Now Edinburgh North and Economedes. It's a great game.
Yeah,
it's the game of the year so far. It's wonderful.
It's exciting. Yeah.
District opener.
You can't wait. It's district opener. What else can you ask for?
Well, how about the little dry weather? Can we have not rain all day? Because that ball, the wet ball, kids are trying to catch the ball with their hands, zip, or you got to get your body behind that ball. You may not go for a touchdown, but you get that catch. So maybe we'll have dry weather. I know we're going to have an exciting game. The Jags have been drawing very well lately. The last couple of years, they've been really bringing a lot of people back, and it's wonderful to see. And North, of course, will have its contingent. I wonder who the home team is. We said it didn't matter, but I still kind of want to know.
I don't know.
We'll look it up.
The schedule, sure.
So how does the game break down? It's the power and the force of North and the explosiveness of Economedes. And that, of course, is generic across the board. But I see it it's more or less that way.
And who wants it more? I mean, it's for city bragging rights.
Right.
I mean, you need those. I mean,
a leg up in the district race. They both think they can win district.
Exactly. Playoff spots. I mean, there's a lot involved.
There's a lot involved. So what happens if you lose?
I think you just need to brush it off and go to the next game.
It's the first district game.
It's the old adage, you know what I mean? Just brush it off, and I mean it's over.
So you're not 0-1. You're not 0-12. You're 0-1.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. Now, how I see it happening is, North will try to assert its will up front. The Jag defense is quick. They're not overly big. That good lineman, John Jacob Castro, is a short guy, but he's strong as a bull, and he keeps coming. But they don't have a ton of size. North has more size, and they've got those two running backs that will inside and out get to death. I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah,
I really do.
Exciting. Another great game happened last weekend. PSJA.
The Bears, told you. The Bears are tough. They're 2-0. Winning at Los Fresnos, that's pretty good.
Going on the road, that's a long road trip in the valley. You know what I mean? You got to go all the way to Los Fresnos.
Leo Aguilar Stadium.
Yeah. He had a great game. 172 yards. Jesus Navarro, 3 touchdowns.
And I saw the touchdowns.
5 touchdowns.
Right, and I saw the touchdowns on a video, and he doesn't have an incredible arm, but he threw it where he needed to throw it, and they were not short balls. I was very impressed. PSJ was down that game and came back on the road. An amazing thing. To me, that solidifies them as a playoff contender, even though it's not a district game, just because it's the kind of effort they haven't been able to make in the last couple of years. It's good for them.
And now they have another home game. I don't know who's going to be home, but
PSJ Memorial.
So.
Man, Memorial's hurting. I saw Brian Garza, who's a defensive end and defensive tackle for EHS, a very good player. He's coaching over there now with his brother MJ Garza, who are my neighbors in Edinburgh. The house that Jack built. It's like that a fairy tale, the nursery rhyme. Those guys are up against it right now because they had a quarterback injury. They had to bring in the sophomore. And so, boy, it's going to be a big week of work for PSJ Memorial. They really got to make that kid feel like he can do it. And, he threw 20 times. He played most of the game. So we'll see. You never like to have a quarterback injured. And so PSJ Memorial kind of reeling a bit. PSJ is on a high.
PSJ, they are on a high. And if they take care of their business here, I mean, that leaves them 1-0 in district, 3-0 in the year. That's undefeated. That's still...
Well, and when you were 1-9 last year, if you had 2 O's, a pretty good lick, right?
That's a complete 180. I think it's a complete 180 already, even though it's the beginning of the season. But I mean, it's a complete improvement from last year.
Indeed, it is. Well, let's backtrack as we like to do and talk about 35A. We talked about the big game. We haven't talked yet about Sharyland or Vela, for example. Sharyland, I hate to have the off week early, but I can tell you why. It's one good reason. You get a week of scouting, and you don't end up that last week with the bye, like Edinburgh, so you can't get a win to improve your standing.
If you're hot, you can stay hot.
Exactly. Yeah. So they play Alexander next, and Alexander's always got some good weapons. So I think it'll be a nice test for Sharyland.
Yeah, they'll be okay. I really don't see, like we talked about it last week. Actually, we did a little error there, but it's all right.
I know. Yeah, we had that.
We talked
my
about
mistake.
it
My
last
mistake.
week.
I wanted them to play, but they didn't.
But it's cool. Yeah, like we were saying last week, I think they should be able to go down there and take care of the business. You know what I mean? It's going to be on a Thursday, so they get an extra day off.
Alexander, as I understand it, is not as strong as it has been the last several years. Remember, it's the damn Westlaco killer in the playoffs every year, or somebody, they'll beat somebody in the second round. So I think Saraland should be a prohibitive favorite, and it's just another workout and another cohesion session for those new
Before
kids.
district starts, yeah. So they should be okay.
And Vela has La Jolla. La Jolla's 1-1. Vela is 1-1. They got it. They did it, and it wasn't no lucky win. They played good, man. Those kids executed, and they worked hard, and they were enjoying it. It was a good thing.
Nice. Yeah, they'll be on the cover of the front page. And,
Golly, man.
it's gonna be exciting. You know, fellas. You know, they got that once. They needed one. Now they know what that feels like, and
Get another one.
Yeah,
That's what Michael Salinas is saying. I know him. There's not gonna be no hype at Monday's practice. They're gonna get back to work. They might even. Here's what you do, in my opinion. You might even be hard on their butts.
Yeah.
Because what you don't want them to do is say, yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
know,
won, yeah.
Well, okay. And even though it is a team that you probably should compete with, La Jolla, what they got to do and what they will do, because those guys are college experience, they're awesome. They'll make sure that those kids don't get too big-headed. We used to call it getting the big head.
Yeah.
You know, you make a few plays,
Yeah,
you
it
get the big head,
happens.
then you get knocked on your butt.
Regardless of the fact, you probably still made some errors that need to be fixed. You know what I mean? No football game is done perfectly.
I think Vela did a good thing by scoring early. You know me, that's my mantra. Get a touchdown early. They had a couple of nice drives. The offensive line continues to come along, and if that group can play like it did against PSA Southwest, then it's going to be an interesting season for them. La Jolla is a very winnable game. They did beat Porter 64-0, but did you see the stat? This is amazing. Ow, that hurt. 6 times they started the series inside the 30-yard line of Porter. I mean, give me a break. Turnovers. So in other words, I'm saying La Jolla is not a 64-point team. Now, the thing is, Vela's got to be pretty excited about it.
I would think so. That's on the road.
No, it's actually
That's
at home. I
okay.
had that mistaken
Yeah,
too. I think I need
that's
some
okay.
sleep.
I
Thursday.
think we all do. Yeah, there you go. They should be. If it's at home, I think they should be fine there. La Jolla, I don't know, maybe.
They have the guys that ran well against Porter, but Porter is the worst 5A team I've seen down here in 10, 15 years. And I don't mean that they're not good kids, believe me, don't send me any cards and letters, but they're just having trouble. They're having trouble, and you just have to recognize that. In other words, there's a series of teams near the bottom in the valley,
Sure.
and they're just a notch below. They don't have numbers, they don't have a lot of depth. I mean,
I think there's too many schools in Brownsville.
Well,
I mean,
look, Brownsville High in the day had some teams. I can tell you about 1929 and 51 and 62, 69 in fact.
Sure.
But the fact is, 6 schools. There's no way you're going to, even if you have good talent, 6 schools is incredible.
it's going to limit your pool completely.
That's a
Actually,
demographic destiny, man. It really is. Now, Brownsville-Rivetta is surprising me a little bit. I thought they were going to be a little better than they were.
Yeah.
Of course, Edinburgh North just pounded them.
Yeah.
God, man. I've seen dominating performances in my day, and that one was just, they were just hitting them. The brutal picture we got of Lupe hitting that guy, man. And they were flattening people from all positions, man. Their defensive backs. Roy Cantu, I call him the Ronnie Lott now. Because number 4, he's gotten kind of bulked up and stronger, and he comes up and hits so hard that he'll hurt himself sometimes. Remember how Lott used to do that? He would just pile in and barge everybody over, and he'd be like, ow, my hand.
Yeah.
I like that guy as a hitter. He goes out of his way to hit people, and I always enjoyed that in a football player. A lot of guys will make the tackle, but Roy wants to pop you, and I think that's a nice asset to bring to the defense.
That's a great asset to have. I mean, it's
Aggression.
Yeah, you're kind of pissed off.
You can't hit nobody in the halls, man. You can't kick your dog. You got to come to the football field and hit somebody. It's beautiful.
We're
What
kind of
sport?
lucky you're even able to hit somebody in football.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's
pretty soon it's going to be
that's
touch his electronic device to signify he's down.
That's another story, man.
When did you ever not hit someone with your helmet? I mean, I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do, but
I think
Can't stand it.
I think that's wrapped up for week 2 coming up.
30 is wrapped up, but
Yeah.
not 31.
Oh, yes, we do have some other games. 30.
What about Memorial San Benito?
Memorial? My bad. They're going to San Benito, exactly.
San Benito is another program that has to be in a little bit, not turmoil per se, because that's
They're
negative, but
struggling right now.
54 to nothing against Harvard.
This is, and actually, this probably happens good for Memorial because coming off that loss, I think they can get this win on the road.
Okay, well, now, San Benito is a wounded tiger right now in its lair, licking its wounds. So be careful about a team coming out and trying to beat you just on physicality and meanness, because that, it takes that. When your team is up against it, you need to come out ugly and nasty and mad.
You're talking about physicality, meanness, and all that, but they're going to need that against Trevor Spence. I guarantee you that, man.
There's no way to really stop him. Well, of course, one team did. 54. He's going to break a few. What you try to do is make the other people not do anything well, right? So if he has to be the offense entirely, then that's probably not a good sign. And so Memorial, I'm sure all season will seek to diversify and
Memorial-
they threw to him. They threw a touchdown to the kid. I want to see him throw a pass.
It was a diving touchdown too. It was
Right.
fantastic.
Yeah, I think I saw
Yeah.
that catch. Yeah. That was him that made that catch.
Yeah,
That guy's good.
That throwing, if they throw the game, if they throw more in the game,
Yeah.
they'll be okay.
DJ, get DJ
yeah.
up there. Throw him the alley oop.
He needs to. They need to time him perfectly with.
He's learning. I
with
think he's
Jonathan.
learning.
Yeah, he
Natural
will.
basketball.
He will, and I think throughout the season, you'll see it. And like they'll get their timing down, and when they do, watch out. And hopefully it gets come down to where right when it's about playoff time,
Right.
and they make the playoffs,
Yeah.
then you're really talking about a threat there.
And that you hit upon the mantra of the year, really, of our lifetime. It doesn't matter what happens in September. It matters
Yeah.
how you respond to it and how you get better and which way you go from there. You know, so no team right now has played a district game. So therefore, everyone is undefeated in district.
Exactly.
Amazing, right? To think that we have all these
Not after this-
compressions and I know well, not
after this
it
week,
starts
though,
counting.
yeah,
That's good.
It's good right here.
So there's Memorial San Benito, PSJ plays PSJ Memorial, Edinburgh at Donna. It's going to be tough, but I think they can do it. Donna lost to Weslaco, so
Yeah.
they're still having their own issues about their identity. Who are they, etc. And then Sherryland Alexander.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And then in the other league, it's got what? San Benito
We
Memorial.
got San Benito Memorial,
McAllen Rose,
McAllen
good ball
Road,
game.
which is probably where most of the city of McAllen's going to be.
Yeah.
We
Who does
have
North play?
PSJ North.
Yeah.
PSJ North. They play.
PSJ North
Find
plays.
notes here.
Who could they play?
They play Weslaco.
East.
East, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
play
Weslaco's
East.
off.
And East is coming off
Man, they got
a
whooped.
bad,
they
a
got
bad day.
whooped, man. And
Let's
so
just say a bad day.
you don't want to have to play them right now because that's a very good football team that's very angry. And so PSJ North, having been beaten badly twice
Yeah.
this season already, this is the time when they've got to really have a stand.
Yeah.
Because 47-3 against EdCast, 32-7 against Donna, they haven't scored an offensive touchdown yet, and I believe that team is very talented. So this is the week that they showed.
Yeah. They need to. There's no other way around it.
And what a great thing to be able to tell your kids, hey, this is a pressure moment. Let's go for it. Let's see who we are. Let's do it. And so I think that they'll have a good shot at that. But like I said, against East, who's really angry, that's going to be hard. I think it's over there,
Yeah.
too. So, hey, man, who knows? Hope springs eternal in the breast of men. So
Sure.
we'll see how they handle that. Big games coming up from here on out.
Yeah. I mean, it's district. I mean, what more can you ask? Except Sherryland, who's got that one, but still.